This is Heaven Gate Act 14 from 2021. Last time on Heaven Gate Act 13, Courtney and Angel Grove infiltrated Mavis's harem and were able to locate Angel's fellow strippers. Meanwhile, demons attacked Neil in jail and abducted him. However, it turns out to be a pre-planned by Neil and the demon boss in order to team up to go after Draco Mavis. Unaware of this, Jessica and the rest of Neil's friends plan his rescue. Author's notes. This issue was originally going to cover twice as much content, but I cut it down to keep the page count from being too overwhelming. Don't worry, the cut parts are going to be in issue 15, which I am currently working on as we speak. I've been staying isolated in my apartment in the 9 months I've spent working on this issue. I've scrapped a little money together with commissions and Patreon, but it won't be enough. If you can spare a few dollars, there will be info at the end of the issue in regards to my Patreon, Nathan Yeager, February 2021. That is in the grips of lockdown, huh? As a year in. We'll talk more about that in the commentary. Okay. We have the Demon Castle flying through the sky. And we zoom in on a tower, and there is Neil, and there is Neil's butt. Okay, Neil, just make this quick. Trying to think too hard about what or how a shower works inside of a living creature. Fresh! Neil, we're here to save... Ooh. Could I have a moment? They walk away. Is it supposed to be that small? I would actually call that average. What monster have you been with? Mavis Tower, Las Vegas. Act 14. Heaven Gate. See, we're in the locker room. How long are we going to sit around? They'll let us know when Lady Mavis has finished her bath. Then what? Did they make you guys hang out in the bath all day? Pretty much. They told us it was for aesthetic. Then at night, a couple zombies lead us to the lower floor where our rooms are. Just two? Yeah, it's the same every night. Any of you fighters? I'm a kickboxer. Know where we can get weapons? Actually, I think they had a cricket tournament here just before Mavis took over. A lot of these lockers have cricket bats in them. Perfect. We'll wait till they come to take us to bed, and that's when we'll make our escape. Meanwhile, back at the castle. How did you shave? With my sword. What? How'd you get my clothes? I figured you'd need your karate costume, so I broke into your apartment. Karate? Costume? Broke in? We're being a little blasé for being in the demon castle. Are we going to escape or not?
What are they doing here?
I told you Demonic would find us.
Indeed.
Me and the demon boss are going to take Mavis on together. We faked my abduction so it wouldn't cause an international incident. Working with the demons? It's crazy. Lurk! But considering Mavis's strength, it may be our only shot. Which reminds me, you got the gem on you, right? Yeah, why? I need to see it. Heads up. What the hell? What? He's useless until he fuses with other demons. Guys! All these demons start pouring out of the hallway.
Come to me, my loyal followers!
We are in a demon. If he fuses with all of them now. Ah, crap. The demons start getting sucked in. Everyone is panicking, including Hippo. Into the gem, and then he slowly starts to transform.
The Demon King has returned.
This form is enough for now. I'll fuse with the rest of the demons when we face Mavis. Wait, that was the Demon King the whole time? Alright, I guess you guys never saw his true form.
That gelatinous mess is not my true form. This is.
Whatever you say.
We should be reaching Mabus shortly.
Wow. So this is how you kept tabs on me back in the day.
As I feared, many demons have joined his side.
Looks like small fry. Not a big deal.
That makes it more odd.
These simpletons all organizing to follow him so quickly?
No. Someone led them. But who? The demon princess. Of course.
I remember her. Wow. Your own daughter. Tough luck.
She's not my daughter. She's my fiancée.
Oh, I don't really care.
I suppose you're wondering why my fiancé would turn against me.
No, I do not care.
Long ago, before we demons were immortal, when we ruled the molten earth.
The Hadean era. 4.5 billion years ago.
As you probably know, back then sunlight was fatal to demons. Luckily, the sun rarely showed itself through the thick volcanic clouds. However, one nation conducted experiments on a weapon to use against their enemies, but it backfired, causing the clouds to open up over their land and wipe them all out. I was scavenging the site of this kingdom for valuables when I came across D4.0.
It was an artificial life form that had been imbued with a demonic aura. It also happened to have all the records of the weapon the nation had been working on. Sunstones, gems that could fire off focused sunlight and melt any demon, no matter how powerful. I had D4.0 manufacture a prototype, and I presented it to my own nation's sovereign, Lucifer, the Demon Emperor. I was confident that with enough time, D4.0 would be able to perfect the weapon, and so, with the promise of more of these weapons, the Demon Emperor made me a general in his military. I won so much favor with him that he even promised his daughter to me as a bride, the Demon Princess. But that impatient imbecile deployed the Sunstones too soon against my protests. The same tragedy hit our troops that it hit the nation which developed the stones. We lost a third of our military power in a day. I was held personally responsible and locked up to await execution. Luckily, I had secured allies during my time as a general, and I had kept a small sunstone for myself. It was amazing. Despite the Demon Emperor having power that could have rivaled Mavis, a small stone is all it took to end his life. I took the throne and the mantle of the Demon King. The princess was less than pleased with the whole affair, so I had her locked up until she came around. That was a mistake. She somehow got her hands on my sunstone and used it to enact her revenge. But as luck would have it, it was in that moment that God made his move, granting all the demons with immortality. My life was spared, but I was forever doomed to that melted mess of a body. In the billions of years since that day, the Demon Princess has cursed the fact that she was 1 second away from getting revenge for her father. Knowing her, she's attempted to seduce Mavis into becoming her puppet to use against me. Wow, that's a lot to take in.
Yark!
Neil is nowhere to be found.
Were you even listening, Neil?
I told you I don't care!
Whoop den high zut undeigit.
The castle. What's it saying?
We're here.
Boom. Name on this little side room.
His base is in that building there.
Okay, let's touch down over here.
Are you going to transform?
Think I'll go with the third form for now. Ponytail snaps. Hair goes whoosh. Pulls out the sword and the sword grows. Coat turns red, eye turns red. Oof. Man, this thing is still hard to lift. Neil. Clean. That's better. Light as a feather.
What just happened?
When the sword grows big, Neil has trouble lifting it, but when I call out his name, it becomes lighter.
What? Why?
Jessica is one Neil holds dear.
I'm right here.
That's my guess, anyway. The original Slayer didn't have any problem lifting the sword.
Wait.
But when the one Neil loves the most calls out his name, Jesse... Oh, right.
When Courtney calls out my name, I perform the Dragon Twister. I'll just have to do without it.
You mean if I had just killed his friends, I could have beaten him?
All right, guys. This is too dangerous for you. Stuff it. We are not running away. You need us.
Oh, no. What?
Every time I face an impossible fight, you guys have helped me pull through.
Oh.
So once we head out, I want you all to find a rooftop out of harm's way to watch from.
Okay.
You gonna be all right?
Yeah. I won't let Mavis control me with fear anymore.
Hippo says he'll protect us.
Great. All right, let's go.
Wait, what? Ugh!
Crashes through the window.
The castle has a teleporter!
Land. So much for sneaking in. Boom. Stare down. To be continued. Fan art. We got some Harry Matcha art here, aka now known as Astroham. Twitch.tv/Astroham_, I believe. His drawing of Keanu High. Our boy Lord of Kirby 64. We got some pixel art from him of Hippo and just the whole gang. Twitch. Watch me work on Heaven Gate and Gotta Make Fast Happen live at twitch.tv/Jaeger_comics. I also play Final Fantasy. Did you guys know that? Discord. Ask about the official Jaeger Comics Discord. Hang out, share art, and get updates on my streaming. Because of the pandemic, I've lost my income, and I'd be lying if I said I know how I'll be paying my bills a month from now. You can help a lot by joining the Patreon. Patreon is a monthly donation with perks to thank you for your support. $1 a month gets you early access to Gotta Make Fast Happen. $2 a month gets you that and early access to Heaven Gate pages. And $5 a month gets you that plus Not Safe for Work drawings. You can even vote on who I draw each month. Patreon.com/Jaeger Comics. That is outdated. The website's still right, but everything is under the $2 mark now. You get Heaven Gate early and Gotta Make Fast Happen. Or I guess Heaven Gate and Ace Danger. Gotta Make Fast Happen's done. There's no NSFW art anymore on the Patreon, but you get everything for $2 now instead of a structured thing. Next time on Heaven Gate Act 15, before Neil and the Demon King can take on Mavis, they'll have to deal with 3 of the strongest demons Neil ever faced all at once. Meanwhile, the Demon Princess makes one more attempt to seduce Mavis before she's forced to join the fight. Credits, art and story, Nathan Yeager, editor, K. Fanasta Kanagi, fonts, blambot.com, creating Clip Studio Paint, silver patrons, Holly Horton Gorsuch, Rachel Murphy, Matthew Grar, Sophie Churchill, Jordan Rose, gold patrons, F. Witt, Mark Gilbert Jr., Kennedy Jocelyn, Russian Fazilneva, Caitlin Roybal, platinum patrons, Crystal Beehole, Twitter at Jaeger Comics, that's gone. Twitch.tv/Jaeger_comics. That's still there. Instagram at Jaeger.comics. That's still there. Patreon, patreon.com/Jaeger Comics. Oh, let's get caught up. What's up? Butt cheeks. Move the speech bubble, coward. I want to see. What speech bubble are you talking about? I don't think any of the speech bubbles are covering his junk. No, none of the speech bubbles would have shown more. Maybe this frame here, but Hippo's in the way there. This speech bubble didn't really. It's still just cut off below. Wait, I thought it was his daughter too. Nice. See, that was the plan. Artificial light form. Welcome back, Maple. Okay. Let's get into the commentary. This cover you can see a speed painting of it on my YouTube. This was, so I remember I mentioned in the author notes This issue and the next issue are supposed to be one issue. The ending of this issue was supposed to be the halfway point of what I was going to put into this issue. But that ended up being a lot. And honestly, it was a good choice to cut it up because I'm currently working on issue 15. And yeah, it's a full-fledged issue. But the idea that I had for the cover was kind of a mid-fight, but for what was going to happen in the second half of the issue. So I had to quickly think up a new cover for this one because what I had planned was cut out of the issue for later. So it's kind of this half and half of here's the modern day with the demon boss and the demon princess and her new outfit in Heaven Gate. And you got your Vegas background, and then the past with the volcanic earth. There's her old outfit from Hellgate. She's got the sunstone there, and that's when the demon boss, that's him as the general. Yeah, and I basically drew both and just did like kind of a fade between one to the other. I like this cover. Yeah, author notes. Yeah, so yeah, this is 2021, right? So I'd been almost a year out of work at this point, and I was kind of running out of options for money. Like I had the money right from the stimulus that they gave out. I had burned through my savings. I had run up a credit card. I had burned through my 401k. It's kind of wild this is February because I don't recall getting my first job until like June of 2021. That's when I got that sorting job for the Peoria Housing Authority. So somehow I found a way to scrape by for a few more months because this, from the sound of things here, I was worried that I wasn't going to make it past March. Yeah. So yeah, if you don't know, I spent, after a few months into COVID starting, when lockdown happened, I left the workforce because my employer was not taking it seriously. And I was like legit afraid for my life. And so I pretty much just self-isolated for about a year until I got vaccinated. And I managed to hold off getting COVID until January of 2024. So anywho, yeah, so I like this idea of like Neil goes to take a shower and it's like you kind of see like the shower head is like covered in veins. It's like it's kind of gross. Like I don't know. Why would you want a shower? Just try not to think about it. Try not to think how a shower works inside of a living, because the castle's alive, right? The castle is a demon, so it's internal plumbing. Don't want to think about it. Neil's friends show up. Jessica's pretty nonplussed. She's pretty whatever about this kind of stuff. Kiana is beet red. Kiana is not prepared. And I also like this like small jab here that's just like, it's like, why is it so small? It's actually not small. That's actually average. What have you, what? This cover page I like quite a bit. I put a lot of work into this with different layers and stuff to show like, one, you got the reflection on the glass. Tons of layers went into rendering this water, the way the shadow hits the water, the difference between the water here on this glass side, you can see like under the water and how that looks different than looking at the surface. I love the way the ripples look across the water. Yeah, I like this quite a bit. She's a little boring, but yeah, that's Kelsey there. But then you get into the locker room. Those lockers were a lot of work. And yeah, this is just kind of like keeping this part of the plot alive of what Courtney and the girls are up to. This, I remember it was a joke I had in mind, but then I almost forgot to include it. So this probably would have just been an establishing shot, but I was like, I gotta keep that joke in there. Cause like, Neil was starting to get like some stubble because he'd been locked up for a bit before this. So he hadn't had a chance to shave. So now he's finally shaved. Yeah. He's like, how'd you shave? He's like, I used my sword. What? Wait, what? And then yeah, I like this, man. I really like this frame. I like these demons like emerging from the darkness. And once again, these are not new designed demons. These are all demons that appeared in group shots in Hellgate at some point. And then we got the Demon King or the Demon Boss merging becoming. I like this where like Neil just was not thinking through like, dude, we're inside a demon. If he absorbs that demon, like what happens to us? And like, so yeah, Neil's like, ah, crap. And everyone's just panicking. You got like Neil grasping his head. You got like Jessica just shutting down, Kiana grasping Jessica, Jesse throwing his hands up, Hippo following suit. But I like this transformation. See, we see like he starts to change form. You see like the hands slowly form out of the gelatinous, and then boom, the Demon King is back with a new outfit, with a new design. I changed his design a bit. I took the inspiration of the original outfit, which was very simple. It was just like there's no like folds to the suit. He just kind of had like some ripples in his shirt. Like now he's got a proper like shirt and overcoat and like whatever this floofy bit is, he's got that, and I love it. He's got proper coattails and everything. The cloak now doesn't fully meet in the middle, but it's still, yeah, it still looks just like the Demon King, but it's a way better, more detailed design. Something I should have done a long time ago, but I never touched it before for continuity reasons. But I've kind of let myself get a little bit loose with that with Heaven Gate just to make things finally look good. And yeah, we see him do the whole like fire thing that we saw him do a couple times in Hellgate, where you can kind of see, he can kind of do like distant vision within a fire cube whenever he needs to. I love this exchange. Because we didn't learn too much about the Demon Princess in Hellgate, right? She just kind of showed up for one issue as a messenger. We could tell that she wasn't the biggest fan of Demon King, and that's it. We definitely know that now. We've seen a lot of her in Hellgate already, but here's where we're finally going to learn why she hates the Demon King. And yeah, Neil's just like, oh yeah, well, your daughter betrayed you. Tough luck. He's like, that's not my daughter, it's my fiance. And yeah, that's new information. We didn't know that before. I also love that Neil just does not give a shit. He's like, I do not care. And he's like, the Demon King just starts telling the story, and he's like, seriously, I don't care. Yeah, so this bit here, this whole background here. So I've talked about this before. Originally, there was going to be a third series. There was going to be a series called Hellgate Final Outbreak. It was going to take place after Heaven Gate. And it was going to be about Neil's granddaughter as the Slayer, and the main villain was going to be the Demon Princess. I set her up in Hellgate with that in mind. I've changed my mind. I'm not going to make Hellgate Final Outbreak. The Heaven Gate will end in a very definitive way, so that won't be an option. But I still want to do something with the Demon Princess. So I worked her into Heaven Gate. You know, this whole thing where she's trying to seduce Mavis and go after the Demon King with Mavis. That was not a thing originally in my original idea for Heaven Gate. But I decided to work her in, so I didn't waste her. And then this flashback here where we learn about their past, this wasn't going to be in Heaven Gate either. This was going to be a mini arc in Hellgate Final Outbreak. I instead just kind of condensed it down into just like a recap, which I think works just fine. But eventually, originally there was going to be, it was going to have to do with sunstones. My idea was that the Demon Princess was going to come across a sunstone in the modern day, or I guess the future, which is when Final Outbreak was going to take place. One that had survived all these eons. It was going to be like in some like Aztec temple or something. Even though that's whatever. I would have come up with a reason. And then she would just think about the past and how all this came to be. And that would lead to her. She was essentially going to use the Sunstone to manipulate the Demon Guardian of Hell. That's the guy with the chains from like issue 34, I believe. And if you recall, he is the only one who has not developed an immunity to the sun. And so that was going to be, she was going to control him, and then he was going to control other demons with his chains, which those chains suppress demonic power. So that was how she was going to be in charge in Hellgate Final Outbreak, even though she's not the strongest. She was going to use the Sunstone to manipulate a demon who could suppress the powers of other demons. Anyway, I love this shot here. I believe this is also speed painting on my YouTube channel. I really like when a scene's really dark and you've got some really glowy bits. Also, we can see like the demon castle was like a species back then, because it's back when the demons, could live, breed, and die. So you can see like almost like a small colony of these floating demon castles, along with just some random other demons. This demon apparently smacked this guy in the head with a rock. Yeah, D4.0. We haven't seen him in a while. D4.0 was in Hellgate. It was a weird little robotic demon. I finally explained where the hell he came from. He was an artificial life form created by some sort of ancient race on Earth that wiped themselves out by experimenting with sunstones. You can kind of see... let's see here. Yeah. And the first time we see the demon emperor. Well, no. We saw him in some flashbacks before, where the demon boss was thinking about Maebus, and like, because the demon emperor knew about Maebus, kind of like he could sense the powerful aura coming from Mars, but it was like dormant because that's when Maebus would have been frozen in the ice. But yeah, so he was the ruler of one of the great kingdoms, and you could see that his outfit's kind of somewhat based off the Demon Kings, or I guess in universe it'd be the Demon Kings is somewhat based off his. We see that the Demon King or the eventual Demon King and the Demon Princess were meant to be married, and yeah, until these giant sunstones cause some sort of reaction that caused the cloud cover to leave, and that burns them. This I like. So he says, luckily I had secured allies during my time as a general. If you recognize those silhouettes, that is his second and third command in Hellgate. This is the Earth Demon, whose giant like spike on his back would eventually freaking skewer Courtney. And then this is the Mother Demon, the one that could create those little like drones, and also he could turn to like a samurai form. I kind of mentioned regretting them being the second and third in command because I didn't really do much with that in Hellgate, but this was a nice callback to that. Like, these are the two that helped him break out. I really like this frame here where he's like half melting. You can see like his bones popping out of the end of his fingers there as his flesh melts away. But yeah, it was mid that moment that he gained immortality and got his gelatinous form. And this wasn't always the plan. I think originally I'd always kind of assumed that like the gelatinous form was his original body. And an alternate version of this is because like I couldn't really make the story work as him being a gelatinous body. So I think my original idea was that D4.0 was going to make him some sort of like exosuit that looked like the Demon King. And then the eventual Demon King body would be based off that exosuit he used to wear. But this worked a lot better. I like the idea of he used to be like more human looking and then he got melted. And so that explains why he always wants to get the gem so he can fuse other demons and regain that humanoid form. Kay also pointed out that the Demon Princess should not be that upset at this turn of events. Killing a guy is way less of a fitting revenge than making him spend eternity as a pile of goo. And yeah, Neil was not paying attention to the story, but Jesse and Hippo were. We get some demon language here, which I don't know off the top of my head what it says. You can check the translator on the website somewhere. I think it's in issue 11. Probably says, "Master, we have arrived." If I'm guessing. And then we get Neil going into mode 3 for the first time in Heaven Gate. Looking very flashy, very pretty. Kay complimented me and said this was a very beautiful magical girl transformation. I also like how we don't see Kiana express much besides happiness and fear and confusion. This is a rare angry Kiana we see when Demonic mentions that Jessica is one that Neil holds dear. It's a little bit of jealousy there. And then, yeah, then Neil just jumps out the friggin' window, and we get to this 2-page spread, which is a lot of work, but worth it. I didn't make a speed painting of this one, but I do remember working about this on stream. Also, there's to be continue here. That's, I don't know when I started doing that. I used to say like act like 14 end. I wonder when I made that change or just didn't realize it. But yeah. Still love this fan art by Astroham. This pixel art from Lord of Kirby's great. We'll have more in the next issue. Kirby's done more since then, quite a bit more. Twitch, yep, still working on Heavygate on Twitch. Not gonna make Fast Happen anymore, but Ace Danger. And yeah, and I mentioned the Patreon's a little bit different now. And no more Twitter. Twitter's gone. So. But yeah, that was Heaven Gate, Act 14. Thank you for that. Redeem the Gamer Boy.
Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, make sure you hit the like button, and I'd love to read your comments below. And make sure you're subscribed so you know when the next comic goes up. Also, check the description for a playlist of any readings you may have already missed. And if you'd like to read ahead, all of these comics are free on my website, YagerComics.com. Bye!